Coming up on this episode of Two Right Turns, a Clemson Football podcast, we have three senior offensive linemen, Blake Miller, Tristan, Leigh, and Ryan Linthicum, joining us. And we talk about the wisdom they've accrued at their time here with Clemson Football, Blake Miller's record streak of consecutive starts, as well as looking ahead at an emotional senior day to come. The next episode of Two Right Turns starts now.
You take those two right turns, and when they make the final turn, they can begin to hear the crowd and the noise of the open end of the stadium.
Here it is, the most exciting 25 seconds in college football.
Hello, everybody, and welcome inside Studio C, the Clemson Athletics Branding Institute, for another episode of Two Right Turns, a Clemson Football podcast. I'm your host for this episode, Ross Taylor, and joined by three senior offensive linemen. If you guys wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, your name, position, jersey number, and hometown.
Tristan, Leigh. I play left tackle, number 71, and I'm from Fairfax, Virginia.
Ryan Linthicum, number 53. I'm a center. I'm from Damascus, Maryland.
Blake Miller, number 78, right tackle from Strongsville, Ohio.
And this is Clemson University. I should mention three Clemson graduates in the room, so if you guys don't mind sharing what your degrees are in.
I got my sociology and minor in criminal justice.
Yeah, I got my criminal justice degree and a minor in business.
I got my degree in finance.
Well, and shout out to you guys. The number one thing in the program, graduate. Congrats for doing what y'all needed to do here at Clemson and continue your education while playing ball here. We're not going to waste any time today. We're going to get straight into the video. Again, this is the time where we implore those of us who are listening audio only to join us on YouTube or Clemson Plus so you guys can see what they're looking at on the screens here. And we're going to start off with 4th and 1 deep in Louisville territory. Ryan, tell me what you're seeing here.
Yeah, so we're seeing we're running we'll put the big fellas in the backfield, and we're handing it to Adam up the gut, just a basic inside zone play. And they kind of got an extra hat on us here, but, Braden just being 6'8", just got in the way, and so that was huge. Braden stepped up huge for us this year when we needed him, and he gave us a chance, and I'm super proud of Braden. But him just getting that little bit on number 6 right there, we really don't have a hat for him. And so, Braden get on him, and then Adam just, extra effort, and then the guys pushing the pile. It was a huge moment in the game, and I'm just super proud of the guys.
I mean, you'll never say that there's no scheme that goes into it or anything like that. But on something like that, is it just one of those where they almost just challenge you as a man of like, look, guys, we need 3 feet, go get it? Yeah,
basically it's they put it 4th and 1, they put it in the O-line's hands, and we just had to go execute. Super proud of the guys. All 11 on the field, gave it everything they had, and we knew it was going to come down to that play, so we just had to put it on our backs.
We saw the video, Ryan and Tristan, both of you, just your reactions after that. I mean, Tristan, is there anything in particular going through your mind that you remember thinking at that time, or do you just kind of like crash out with excitement?
Man, I just filled with excitement for real. It was an emotional game, to get down there like that and execute. I was just turned. I was like, let's go. Really, that's what it was. I was just filled with joy for real.
Well, the excitement is typically not limited to just the players. As we go to the next video, here's Coach Luke. This is in the second half. Let's take a listen.
Hey, y'all can do this, man. Let's go make a statement, baby. Let's go make a statement.
How much has Coach Luke's belief in you all meant to you over the last couple of years? Blake, let's start with you.
Yeah, I'd say that, his belief in us is, he believes in us sometimes more than we believe in ourselves. And I think that, that leads to him encouraging us in times when we're down. And, a lot of times you can kind of lose sight of, we're here for a reason and we're incredibly blessed to be here. And he can remind us of that sometimes. So I appreciate that he does that. And then, in moments like this, he's, amped up and here for us and gets everyone going. When we're dragging, if we are, he's there for us. And then sometimes, we'll get him going too. So I think that, he feeds off us, we feed off him. Like it's a great relationship.
Well, and Ryan, especially for you, Coach Luke comes in, you're a guy still trying to prove yourself. Obviously, you had the recruiting accolades, but not much of a track record here, so to speak. And you have an opportunity to impress him early and kind of lay claim to your spot. For him to believe in you the way he has, what has that meant to you?
Yeah, it means the world, especially because Coach Luke played center. He's very intelligent schematically, and so he's, taught me a lot how to become more of a mental center and, understand defenses better. And he's just taken my game to the next level. And I'm so thankful for Coach Luke. He, he wants us to, strive for excellence, and you don't have a lot of coaches nowadays that do that. And I'm just so thankful that he pushes us hard, regardless of of being a senior. Blake starting 50 games. All of us. He coaches us all the same, and that's just to chase one goal, and that's to get to the vision that he wants. And I'm so thankful for it. It makes us better, and he's one of the best coaches I've ever had. So.
Well, is there a unique connection with him being a former center?
Yeah, a little bit. I think we just see the game the same. Like, me and him see the game differently than some of the other guys, just because we play center, and to play center, you gotta get all the guys on the same page. And I think him playing center and me playing center, I think it helps my game a lot. Just the mental part of the game for sure.
We're going to take a look at one more video, and this actually goes back to a week earlier against Florida State. And we won't say anything because I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to hear former coach Steve Adazio on the broadcast talking about Walker Parks.
I mean, can we give a little love to Walker Parks, number 64, for his in the open field, his big-time block that sprung that play. Wow, big man on the loose. Oh, wow, the right guard, number 64, watch him get downfield here. Bam! He just wipes the thing out and opens the play. I mean, look at that play. That's an athlete right there. We're talking about those skill guys.
Yeah.
Big number 64 Parks at 6'5", 310 in the open field. Appreciate that, America.
He ain't gonna pop it. Yeah. He ain't gonna pop it.
I love Adazio at the end there. Appreciate that, America. That's an O-line guy talking about O-line play. I love that. Tell us what you see on this play and the job that Walker did getting out into space like that.
He did a great job. I think something that's something about Walker's game is he's so athletic and he's really good in space. You kind of combine that with his physicality. I mean, look what he did to Cuz, you know what I'm saying? I know we have a mindset in the O-line room. We try to finish blocks and play fast, be athletic. I think, that's an advantage of ours, that we are big athletes. And when you get in space like that, you got to get them going.
Yeah. It was this is one where he kind of gets to showcase it a little bit. I'm pretty sure the tackles are in on this one. It's the interior three that are going out. So, I'm sitting there in the backfield, and I see him deploy on the screen, and I'm back there, and I see him get this block. And I told him when we got to the sideline, I was like, man, I was your biggest fan on this play. I'm back there cheering him on. Yeah, Walker, get him, yeah. So, it was cool to see. I had a front row seat to it. It was awesome to see him get out there in space and, put a guy on the ground.
Well, we're taping this on a Monday, and unfortunately, Coach Sweeney announced last night that Walker's season has come to an end with an ankle injury he suffered in Louisville. So he has played his final game as a Clemson Tiger, and I think everybody in this building, but I think most people who have followed this program or have been around this program understand what Walker Parks has meant since he arrived here in 2020. And quite frankly, even before that, if you know the story of how he earned his offer in camp, literally like weeping tears of joy when he earned the offer, kind of trying to be under the radar. To me, it seems like a guy who is given literally every ounce of what he's had. He made a joke in a press conference once a couple years ago coming off injury that he was like an old beat-up car in his shop that at this point, like, the bumper's held on by duct tape and he's all aftermarket parts, and like we were just trying to keep him running. But I mean, the heart and soul, what has Walker meant to you all?
Yeah, I played next to Walker for 2 years now, and, it's just been a blessing. I mean, Walker's a true warrior. He shows up every day. I don't think he's been 100% for the last 3 years, but he shows up every game day, bringing the energy, giving his all. And it's just, it hurts that, that he won't be able to finish the season, but the way he finished, in his home state, playing his dad's rival, going out on one of the biggest drives we had, he was getting us down there, and I'm just so proud of Walker, man. I love him. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Just that I'll never get to play with him again. It's super sad, but I'm super super proud of him. I mean, he gave it his all, everything he had. That's one thing about Walker is you'll never challenge his integrity and how he is as a man, and I'm just so proud of him. I'm so thankful that, I got to play next to him. He made me better, and I'm going to miss him, but, I'm going to love him forever, though, and I'm so proud of him. So.
And Blake, I know y'all are particularly close.
Yeah, I'd probably say he's my best friend here, and he's my roommate as well. And just kind of seeing the grit that he has year in and year out. My freshman year, he was kind of a guy I looked up to, and he still is a guy I look up to. And just kind of seeing how much he puts into this. Like, there'll be times where I see him after games, and he's having to hobble around and stuff like that. But guess what? He's going to be out there Monday, or he's going to be out there Tuesday. Like, he's going to be ready for the next week. So just kind of seeing how much he's willing to push through, and his will to help the team, and the selflessness that he kind of shows day in and day out, and with how he acts, like it makes me want to be a better man, better teammate. And he's a phenomenal human being, and I think the attitude that he has, wherever he ends up in life, like whatever his path may be, I think that he's going to be great at whatever he does.
Well, and y'all know after the game, coach will typically call out guys for accolades and things like that in the locker room post game. But he doesn't give out game balls very often, and he gave one out to Walker Parks following this game in Louisville. Tristan, I mean, for you, I know how committed you are to that room and to that group. To see one of your brothers have a moment like that, knowing perhaps that it could be his last playing for the Tigers. I mean, what did that mean to you?
It meant a lot. That was a very emotional moment. I mean, like these guys said, like, I think Walker epitomizes what an offensive lineman should be. I mean, just selfless. He's a leader. He plays the game the right way. He's physical, just tough, just a tough dude on and off the field. He's always there for you, on and off the field. And to see him go down, it was tough. It's never easy to see that, and especially when it's a guy that's put as much into this as Walker, and how much he cares. But that's about as much of a deserved game ball as I've seen, and he deserves everything. And he left a legacy, and man, just went about his business, and I know he's impacted me, and obviously I'll impacted these guys in our unit. And, I'm just proud to say that, I got to strap it up on Saturdays with Walker Parks. He a dog.
Well, and you think back 3 months, and with Walker's injury and Braden's injury, 3 months ago, one of the talks was how deep the O-line group is. We had 8 guys coming back who'd started at least one game. You knew Braden Jacobs was coming. And so, it was great that we had the depth. Well, it turns out we've needed every single bit of it, because it seems like every single week somebody's gone down. Tristan, you've battled through injuries. Everybody, Elijah went down early in the year. Walker has had, the thing that Walker's had for years, which something's always popping up. But it seems like you all have been able to insert and plug and play and just all these moving parts. And so I want to know from you all, particularly as seniors, what is next for this group, and who do our fans need to know about?
I feel like, something that we've kind of, and I don't want to speak for them, but I know something that we've harped ourselves on as seniors is, maybe the season, it hasn't gone, the way, maybe we had imagined and stuff like that. But I know it's important us planting a seed for a tree, we might not enjoy the shade from. We talk about that in our room, and, us sacrificing and trying to put a vision on tape and a vision of culture of what our room can be, for those young guys, for them to, know that they're coming back next year, and that there's a solid foundation of what it's supposed to look like and going to look like for years to come. But, we got dogs all over that room. Obviously everybody know about Braden, what I'm saying? Obviously the way he stepped up for us this year, like even, Rod said, like on the goal line, like he took up 2 guys. You just can't teach that heart and mix with his ability. We got a lot of young guys on the way. I don't know what y'all think.
Yeah. I'd add too, like, obviously, like I'm fired up about all the young guys we have. I know Easton's season got cut short. I think that he was shaping up to be a guy who is, going to be able to help us. But I'd add to that, like, with stuff happening and, having depth, but just the guy's selflessness, Braden going in there and, he's playing left tackle, and then he gets looked at and he gets moved to left guard, and he didn't sit and complain about it. Like, the selflessness that he showed to do that, and guys having to flip-flop all over the field, like, I really respect that, and I love that about our group, that it's, it's not a bunch of individuals. It's a group of guys wanting to help one another and, get the best product out there, even if, guys have to switch things up and do things that they might not be as comfortable with.
Well, there's been a bunch of guys banged up and missing games, but there's a gentleman in this room who's never missed a game that Clemson has played since he arrived here as a freshman in 2022. And, we didn't get a chance to chat with you whenever you broke the record, but Blake, 51 consecutive starts. Every game that Clemson has played since 2022, you have started. You have only missed, I believe, 2 practices in your entire career, which is as unbelievable, if not more unbelievable, than the actual games themselves note. I mean, as you reflect back on it, what enabled you to set the record for consecutive starts by a non-specialist? And do you ever just kind of sit back and think like, wow, this has actually happened?
I'd say, like, to your first part, what enabled me, I'd say, like, I'm incredibly blessed. God's watched upon me, and he's given me gifts to be here, but then also, too, while I'm here, he's been with me and kept me safe and healthy and everything. And, I'm so thankful for that. It's a blessing to be here, and to be able to play as many games as I have is even more of a blessing. So, first off, all the glory goes to God. And then I'd say the other thing is I just love being out here with the guys. Like, I don't want to, like, when I'm not out there, the one practice I miss, I remember vividly, I'm sitting there and I'm going through, like, just doing some exercises on one of our fields, and I'm watching them go through individual, and I'm like, man, like, I want to be out there. Like, not only do I want to be out there and, sweating with them, going through drills with them, but also, too, like, I just want to be out there with my guys, like, sitting there, in between, maybe joke around a little bit. Like, I just love being around the fellas. So, that's also part of what does it. Like I said, we're a big family, and to not be able to be out there with my family and have to be excluded, like, I never want to have that. So that's part of why I push through.
Well, and Ryan and Tristan, both you guys had to scratch and claw to get on the field after, a couple of years into your careers. Tristan, I mean, you've battled every ankle malady that you could have over the last couple of years. I mean, does it just give you all a deeper appreciation for the streak that he's put together?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one thing about Blake, he's he can be, to himself, like, quieter guy sometimes, though, but he has so much substance to him. And, just seeing the way this guy's worked since he got here, we came in a year before him. When he showed up here from the first day to now, after 51 starts, like, he's been the same guy every day, consistently put the work in, care about his teammates. And, it doesn't come to a shock. It wasn't a surprise to me. I mean, he's always been about his business, and he's always displayed how important it is to him, being a great teammate and being a great player.
Well, and I'm going to interject here because you talked about the substance, and that's one thing. And Blake, I want to give you credit here because I don't think you get enough credit for that, because everybody talks about how quiet you are. Coach continues, he always makes a joke, yeah, Blake Miller doesn't say a word, and that's true to an extent, and that I don't think you were, just going to volunteer to always speak up or just be loud and gregarious or anything like that. But every time that I've heard you speak, whether it's in press conferences with me, speaking to the team, like, your message has always been perfect and completely on point, and everybody knows that because you can back it up. And after the game, the team and coach, after you set the record, gave you the opportunity to speak. What was your message to everybody? Because I know part of it came from Tristan, right?
Yeah. Tristan had talked about, like, a Bible verse that he read, and it was basically God asking, like, who shall we send? And what was it? It was Isaiah, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, like, here I am, send me. And basically my message to the team, or what I got from that, because I really do think that, like, when it comes to the Bible, like, the Bible reads you. Like, you get out of the Bible what you need to hear. So what I got from that is, like, guys like Tristan, who are, who are banged up, but he's out there fighting. He has that here I am, send me mentality. So I just wanted to express to the team how grateful I was that, we have guys on the team who very easily could have packed it in and quit after, like Tristan said, things didn't go our way and how we envisioned them at the beginning of the year. But we have guys who are fighting through, and they have that here I am, send me mentality. And, I wanted to share that with the team, just how much I appreciate that.
Yeah, just another perfect point delivered at the right moment. I think this is actually the right moment to take a pit stop, courtesy of our friends at Darlington Raceway. and we've got 3 old men in the room, so we wanted to have you guys give some advice to some younger folks. And so let's pull up the first one here.
Is that edited?
So this
gotta be edited, bro.
This is, I believe, Elite Junior Day.
That's
Ryan Linthicum, this young whippersnapper from Damascus, Maryland. What advice would you have for that gentleman right there?
First of all, I think y'all edited that. My nose is but yeah, I would just say to my younger self, just to always keep the faith, man. There's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel, even when you can't see it. I tell these young guys nowadays, like, you don't see a lot of Blake Millers come in and start as a freshman, and if you just put the work in, and your time will come, your opportunity will come, but you just have to be ready for the opportunity. And it's a blessing. My experience, my story is unique, and I can relate to some of these young guys. But it's great having guys like on the team. I remember my first start versus Georgia. Blake told me, Blake doesn't say a lot, but he told me, he's like, I always believe in you, bro. And just having somebody that played 51 starts, like, it's incredible. I mean, it's like he's not real. It's like an alien. Like, that doesn't happen. And, just having those guys, believing in me. And then so I just try to, my experiences, my trials, my tribulations that I went through, because there was ups and downs. There was long days, especially with Tristan too. He got me, he kept me sane through a lot of it, because he kind of went through the same thing I went through a year before. So he kind of knew, what I was going to go through. And, I just, owe it to all the guys, and God's blessing them. Some of the stuff you can only God could do something like that. And so I'm just, super blessed by God just to be in this position and to be around guys like Blake, like Tristan, like Walker. But yeah, I just, for them young guys, man, I just try and tell them, that, just keep working, and just keep your trust in the Lord, because he will reward you if you just, follow by him. So
who do we have next?
Hey.
Young Buck out of Fairfax.
God. Man, that's old.
Tristan, what would you tell him?
I would say just stay true to who you are. I'll say that it's important to be cognizant that comparison is the thief of joy. When you go to a place like Clemson, I think it can be easy, coming here as a young guy and looking at guys that are already here, because we do really well in developing guys, and guys always have opportunities for the next level, and guys are at such different stages in their careers here. Not getting caught up in all that stuff ever, and just staying in your lane and working, staying self-aware. Like Raj said, like, it's a process. You never know. It's always going to go up and down and stuff like that, but you can stay true to who you are and be real with yourself where you're at, and always be open to getting better, to build a relationship with your teammates, and just holistically developing and keeping in mind where you want to go. And yeah, staying true to that and keeping that the main thing.
When you can guess where this last one is going, and he looks exactly the same. He doesn't look like he's changed a bit. Blake, what would you tell the kid from Strongsville, Ohio?
I'd say just enjoy everything along the way. I look back at my time here, and it's gone by, and it feels like a month. Like every day, like there can be long days, but the weeks, months, years are very short. So I just say enjoy every single moment, and then look for the positive in everything. If you want negative, you can find negative, but if you look for the positive in things, you're going to live a lot happier life, and that would be my main pieces of advice.
That segment was presented by Darlington Raceway. I hope to see you at the track that's too tough to tame in 2026, starting with the Goodyear 400 weekend, March 20th through 22nd, and again in the NASCAR playoffs with a cookout, Southern 500 next Labor Day weekend. Log on to darlingtonraceway.com for your tickets. Now back to Two Right Turns. Well, one thing that happened this offseason, Kyle Coulter from the Clemson FB team kind of embedded with the offensive line a little bit for a special piece called The Trenches that aired prior to the start of the season. And the entire thing is great. We encourage our fans to go find it on YouTube. But one thing that stood out, and Ryan, you talked about this a little bit, was about receiving words of affirmation from your teammates, the guys believing in you. When we play one clip real quick and then have you react.
Tristan, he's done a lot for me. He's my brother for life. And last year, I mean, it was tough. Like, I was competing for the job. I love competing. But, like, there'll be some days, where you don't have a good day and you think it's all over. You think, oh, man, like, I'm going to have to go somewhere else. Like, it's not going to work out here. And I just remember I was sitting there in the locker room and Tristan came up to me. He's like, bro, we all believe in you. Like, everybody believes in you. Like, we know you got what it takes. And I think that's what really sparked me to be who I am, be a great center for Clemson.
Let's do it, baby.
Like, Ryan, we know you have to believe in yourself,
right.
But how powerful is it having belief from the people around you?
Yeah, I mean, you have to believe in yourself before anybody else believes in you. That's, that's the first step. But, just having guys that, that you play next to that, regardless of what happens, they're going to believe in you. And I think that's, people don't really see how close we are up front. Especially us, we played a lot of ball games together. And I think, just having, we're not just teammates, we're brothers. And I think when you really have that love for somebody like we do for each other, I think you play harder for each other and you just go a little bit harder. And it means more. Like, you saw us on the goal line last week. We didn't have the season we want, but, that energy that we have, 4th and 1, we got to have it, the O-line's got to go get it. And you just saw our joy, and that's just because we love each other and we love this team and we love Clemson. And I just think, having somebody, that believes in you, especially like these guys, it means the world to me, especially. So.
Well, and Tristan, you talked about it a little bit in the special, referencing Andrew Booth having a similar moment with you earlier in your career. What compelled you to do that?
To talk to Big Ron?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's really easy in college football, just kind of nature of what it is. You can come in here and kind of have a mask on because, we playing a tough game and all this stuff like that. But, like, I just like to keep it real. I believe in giving people their flowers. I think life is too short to not move like that. And I just told Big Rod what I saw for real. Like, I saw a guy come in here and put the work in and earn opportunity. And I felt like at that point he had already done the hard part, and he should have so many reasons to believe in himself. And honestly, I just told him the truth. I told him what I saw and that I believe in him. And, I'll strap it over Ryan any day. Like you said, we'd have played a lot of ball together and stuff like that. And I just trusted him. I believe in him. And, I just told him what it was. Told him what, kept it real.
I want to talk a little bit, too, about the situation Clemson finds itself in right now. I think we can all be honest, and no one in the building, coaches, staffs, players, have probably had the season we expected or wanted. And yet, coaches' comments post-game to ESPN's Paul Carcaterra last week, just so effusive of the way that this team has stuck together, has fought, has dug in, has grown closer. In a sport, but particularly in a time where it would be so easy to divide, for everybody to say, like, no, I'm good, I'm going to take care of me. Like, it does truly seem like this team has not fractured. Why do y'all think that is?
Honestly, when I talked to the media last week, I was telling them about this. I think collectively we have a mindset that, again, I don't want to speak for anybody else in the team, but I think we have a mindset like, when we said we were committed to this, we didn't say we're committed to this. If everything's all good, if we're 16-0, nothing goes wrong. Like, no. Like, we're committed to this team. We're committed to each other, to this university, regardless. And I think that it's a testament of the character in our locker room. Because we always talk like tough people last, and you got to hang tough, and we got to be cognizant of setting an example for the young guys. What are they seeing? Like, we talk, like Coach Luke always talks about, like, building a room and a culture. Like, what are these young guys seeing? Like, in these moments like that, it's easy to lead and to be all happy and stuff all the time when things are going right. But who are you when things go wrong? Like, when we're not meeting expectations. Like, who are you in that moment? What type of leader are you? What type of player are you? And I think that goes a long way because it's real. And I know that's important to us, just sticking to what we said we were going to do and hanging tough.
Well, this has been a little heavy, so we want to have a little fun. So we're going to open the fan mailbag presented by the South Carolina Department of Social Services. Learn more about public adoption in the state of South Carolina at dss.sc.gov. Our first question: who on the offensive line claims they could be a tight end?
I mean, I did play tight end my freshman year in high school. Like, when you had, when you guys do warm-up lines in high school, in the O-line and the D-line, I was in the receiver stance catching routes my freshman year of high school. So I think I was on JV, though, and I only played 4 games. And I had 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I can find the highlights if y'all don't believe me.
Well, I guess this is unfortunate because unlike in the tackles in the room, you can't really hide a center as ineligible anywhere.
Yeah, well, I was like 210 my freshman year. So, I was catching routes, 400 yards. I mean, ain't nothing too much. But, I actually did play tight end, so it's like claimed, but I did. So.
All right, yeah. So, free answer, Ryan Linthicum.
Yeah.
All right. Who's the hardest to block in practice? We got 2 guys on the outside and 1 on the inside, so there might be some difference of opinion here.
Honestly, I feel like all those guys, honestly, like they play at such a high level. Like they're all good at different things. Like there's no like, I feel like you're getting something at a high level no matter who you're going against. I think that's a hard question, and I couldn't even answer that. Like I wouldn't even disrespect none of them guys like that. Like all those dudes play at such a high level. It's a game rep. If you show up in practice and you don't have a game rep, it's going to be a bad day for you. I'll say that.
Inside, I mean, I'd say Peter. Peter and Cuddy, because they're both different. But Peter, he's as strong as he is, he's just as twitchy. So you don't really know what you're getting. I mean, obviously his resume speaks for itself. But, Cuddy is about like just the naturally strongest dude I've ever blocked. Like in a zero tech, like. Yeah, so I'd say Peter and Cuddy. They're both different, but they're both.
Cuddy's got that like country strong thing going.
Yeah, when he gets his mitts on you, it's like.
Yeah, I'd say that everyone has their things that make them difficult to block. Like I know when I'm going against Peter, like the other week, we're in practice, we got inside run, so it's just us versus the linebackers, like O-line, D-line versus the linebacker, or O-line versus the D-line linebackers, and I know pre-snap, like, okay, we're down blocking, like me and Harris down blocking Peter. And Peter just, like, he's so good at picking up, like, little pre-snap cues, like, things we don't even think about. He looks at me and just, like, gives me a little, like, come here, like, because he knows I'm down blocking him. So that makes him hard to block. But then, Will, I think Will's good at analyzing, my game and knowing the things that I struggle with or, things that he can exploit in my game. And I think that makes him difficult to block. And then TJ's, similar in the same sense that, he knows what he does well and he's going to use it against you and he's going to make you basically work as hard as you can to block him every play. So I think we got dudes across the board.
Yeah, I'd say Peter is the smartest defensive tackle I played against, like even games, all that. Like he has the mind of an offensive lineman. Like he knows when guys are pulling, when guys are like he understands offensive line plays, so.
All right, and the last one we have, actually from TJ Parker. Who would be the best defensive lineman out of the 3 of you?
I feel like I got that, man. Come on.
Yeah, I mean.
I feel like I got that. I played all through high school, D-line, you know what I'm saying? A little twitched up, a little speed of power. You know what I'm saying?
I did have an interception in high school in the state championship.
Blake, we need a tiebreaker.
My freshman year, I started at nose tackle. And I got after it a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say Tristan though. I played D tackle when I was 250 my freshman year, and then after that, I only played one way because they said I got too tired.
Yeah, I'd give it to Tristan. You don't get number 1 player in the nation
without
being a two-way player.
Ain't doing all that.
There are children of all ages in South Carolina who are in need of a forever home. Many are teens, siblings, or have complex medical needs. Public adoption through the South Carolina Department of Social Services can not only be life-changing for them, it can be life-changing for you too. When you provide stability, guidance, and support, you're giving a young person the foundation to succeed. Learn more about public adoption in South Carolina at dss.sc.gov. All right, well, as we start to wrap up here, looking ahead to this week against Furman, it's y'all's last time out in Death Valley. Senior Day coming up. Just what are your emotions like heading into your final home game?
Yeah, especially my last home game. I got some family coming. My last home game with these guys. I'm just blessed, man. God is just you know, if you told when I was 5 years old, I mean, I dreamed of this, but if you told me this is what's going to happen, I wouldn't even have believed. So, you know, it's just a blessing. It's some days, you know, the days are long. But, you know, just to have gratitude and just realize, you know, sometimes like T. Leigh said, you got to smell the flowers sometimes. And, you know, God just, you know, I give all the glory to God because you don't even, you know, think about the plans that he has in your life. And, you know, I'm just so thankful that God has blessed me and my family's been there, and just to be with these guys. You know, I wouldn't wish it any other way, and, you know, just go finish these last 2 regular season games, you know, with everything we got. And, you know, I'm just so blessed. So,
Tristan, Blake, we all be emotional coming down the hill?
I definitely will have a lot of emotion. I'm not outwardly very emotional, but, you know, looking at it, you know, it's been an amazing 4 years here, and, you know, it's crazy to think that it's coming to a close. And I'm so grateful for all the relationships I was able to build with, you know, my fellow teammates, coaches, support staff, everyone. Like I'm thankful for, you know, the people who have helped me grow as a man and, you know, grow in my faith, and thankful that God's just given me the, you know, platform here to, you know, be able to share his word with people, and then also too that he's just, you know, blessed me with all that he has for me to be here and, you know, have the career that I've had. So I'm just overly grateful, and, you know, it's crazy to think it's coming to an end.
Well, and Tristan, I feel like there's no emotion you haven't worn on your sleeve in your time here at Clemson. Do you feel like that'll be the case this weekend?
Definitely. It's definitely an emotional day. You know, I was thinking about it the other day, like, you know, when you get in here, you feel like you're going to have just a million games in the Valley. Like, you know, it's never going to run out. You know, as a senior, though, you know, throughout the year, you start doing things for the last time, like, and stuff like that. And, you know, this is definitely going to be emotional, but I think, like they said, you know, going about our business and finishing, executing the right way will help us feel better about it. You know, so it'll definitely be emotional, and just, you know, just spent my time here, put a lot into this, and, you know, just built so many great relationships and had so many great moments, especially in that stadium. And but yeah, I'm excited to finish the right way, finish with the people I love, my brothers.
Well, last one, and we'll go around to all 3 of you here. I mean, there's only 2, potentially maybe 3 more games for you all to add to your legacies here at Clemson, and I would just like to hear from each one of you, if you had the choice of how you were remembered as a player and as a person for your time here at Clemson, how would you want to be remembered?
I'd say for me, over anything, I want to be, you know, dependable and consistent. I want to be the guy that, you know, my teammates can trust me to get my job done every time. You know, no matter the matchup that I have, they can trust me to, you know, give us space to run in the run game, give us time to pass in the pass game, and just, you know, a guy who was dependable, consistent, and then also too, I'd add like a good teammate, someone like I want to be. I know I'm a quieter guy, but I want people to know that I'm here for them, and, you know, I'm here to help them. So that's how I want to be remembered.
I agree with Blake. One thing, you know, I want to be remembered as is just consistent, like he said, you know, that they can count on me, you know, to do my job every single play. And I just want to, you know, say that I brought joy to people. You know, I try to, you know, make jokes and, you know, have fun all the time. You know, I try to be a funny guy. But, you know, I just want those young guys, you know, for those young guys to, you know, have some, you know, joy and, you know, have some light and, you know, have fun, you know, in the journey, because like I try to tell these guys, like, they're all like, oh, you're old, like, you know, we got 4 years left. I'm like, dude, I was there. Like, I know you think you got all the time in the world, but you don't. And I just want, you know, when those young centers, you know, to be able to, you know, ask me questions, you know, in the future, you know, like what they think about this, all that, you know, I just want them to be able to look up to me, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, just tell them to, you know, enjoy everything, because it goes quick. You don't think it does, but I just remember I was a freshman doing mat drills, you know, and it felt like yesterday, but, you know, it goes quick, and just to enjoy every moment, because it's such a small part of your life, and, you know, just to make sure those young guys, you know, can just, you know, remember and have joy. So
yeah, I would say, you know, I'd want to be I want to be remembered as you know, somebody that was there and that showed up for my brothers, whatever they needed, with honor off the field. You know, that's in leading, or that's in, you know, challenging each other, whatever it is. Like, I try to take it upon myself every day to show up, and whatever I have, like, I'm giving it to my brothers. Like, whatever I have, effort, like anything, I'm gonna give them 100% of what I have, and I hopefully that that will be remembered. And I loved my time here. It's been great, and I'm excited to finish strong. And I want to always be a resource to those guys. It's really important to me. The influence maybe I had on them, or I hope we just always be able to keep building on those relationships that we started, and hopefully they understand the margin of error in football and life, and hopefully we made a difference and helped them, and excited to see their journeys and follow their journeys and always be there for them.
Well, guys, we really appreciate the time, the honesty, the candor today. I don't think we intended for this to be as much of kind of a career retrospective as it has been, but I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't just kind of pick up on all the wisdom that you all have accrued over your time here. And beyond thanking you for your time today, just thank you all for your time at Clemson, how much this university has meant to you, how much this program has meant to you. The players, the people, the representatives y'all have been of this place. I speak for a lot of us inside the building, and the thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions outside of this building for the job you all have done representing Clemson every time y'all have worn the paw. So thank you for that. This is going to wrap us up from Studio C, the Clemson Athletics Branding Institute. Make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode of Two Right Turns, a Clemson Football podcast.